Hello, my name is David Nguyen. Today we will be discussing about establishing credit history. Establishing credit history is actually quite important when it's time to use that to purchase real estate. And today we have a guest. His name is Michael of Sato. He's a mortgage expert from Romanian Lending. Thank you for being here, Michael.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So we can start with the basic questions. What is a credit?
Well, credit would best be defined as the ability to obtain goods or services while based on the trust that payment will be made at a later date. So in Canada, the way we rate credit is based on a credit bureau. So in Canada, we have two main credit bureaus. We have Equifax and we have TransUnion. Now, both bureaus determine a person's three-digit credit score based on a complex mathematical formula. The higher the score, the more likely that the person will repay their debts. The lower the score, the more likely the person will default. So if you want to know what goes into determining a person's score, there's a number of different factors. Basically, you have credit history, which is how well have you paid your creditors. You have account history, how long have you held those trade lines for. You have outstanding debt, so how much have you utilized the credit that you have available to you. And then you have things like recent inquiries, where it tells the creditors where you applied and what kind of credit you've applied for, and the mix of accounts that you have. So if it's a lease, a loan, credit card, those types of accounts.
Why is it important to have good credit?
Well, credit affects a number of different aspects of our lives. It can tell you what you can buy, how much you can afford to spend, and how long it's going to take you to pay that back. It could also affect your landlord's decision to rent that apartment to you, or even that potential employer's choice in whether or not to hire you. So the main purpose of credit is to assess risk to those who are going to be granting it to you. Financial institutions, what they want to know is, if I give this guy a $5,000 loan or credit card, what's the chances of him walking away and never coming back and never paying me back? So the lower the risk to the lender or the creditor, the lower the cost to the consumer.
And how would one start establishing credit history?
There's three ways that people can establish credit history. One, obtain a department store credit card. Now, these are usually easier to obtain than something like a Visa or MasterCard or American Express. Two, you can get a secured credit card where you would get a certain credit limit based on the amount of security deposit that you put down with the credit grantor. The third way would be to get somebody to co-sign for you. So if you get somebody with good credit or well-established credit, they basically guarantee that you will pay back your debts. Now, the flip side of that is that they are responsible for whatever you do. So you have to act in a responsible manner.
How can having a good credit be an advantage to real estate buyers?
Well, because buying a home or buying real estate is probably one of the largest financial obligations that any of us will take on in our lifetime.
Yes.
Good credit is absolutely crucial to that transaction. Now, there's a lot of new products in the market that are geared towards people with impaired credit.
That's right.
So those people are not necessarily blocked out of buying real estate. However, when you compare the costs of somebody with poor credit and somebody with good credit,
Yes.
it's not inconceivable that somebody with poor credit can end up paying almost twice the interest rate that somebody with good credit would.
Wow.
So that's why good credit is very important for real estate transactions.
Okay. And what are the rewards and the implications of having good credit?
The rewards to having good credit would be, of course, that when you make a large purchase, such as a car or a house,
Yes.
No one, hardly anybody, can afford to pay for these things outright.
Yes.
So therefore, you know that you're going to have some sort of credit in order to make these purchases. Now, because you can have use of these items, have use of these large items, and then
Yes.
pay for them over a longer period of time, that would be the reward. You have the immediate use.
That's right.
The obligations or the implications of having that credit, of course, would be that you need to be able to maintain your credit. You need to be able to make your payments on time. You need to be able to not rack your credit cards up to the limit.
That's right.
You need to be able to not constantly apply for everything that you get in the mail. Like every credit card that you get in the mail, you don't always want to be causing those inquiries on your credit bureau. Because what that'll do, all these things will lower your credit score, and the lower your score is, of course, the higher the cost.
Yes. Thank you, Michael, for coming in and talking with us.
Well, thanks for having me, Dave. And for those of you who do want more information about mortgages, I do have a website. It's www.michaelsato.com. That's MICHAELSATO.com.